Could a once thriving city turn into a cautionary tale overnight? Is it time to rethink where you call home before the clock strikes 2026? From crumbling streets to vanishing opportunities, a wave of urban decline is sweeping across parts of the UK. Each of these 10 cities wrestles with its own set of dangers, from soaring crime to sinking economies. The following passages expose the hidden cracks in their foundations and reveal why staying could cost more than pounds, and race for a satirical ride through urban decay and find out if your hometown sneaks onto this list. Newport feels like a film set for a dystopian drama. Abandoned warehouses cast long shadows over shuttered shops, and broken streetlights flicker like tired eyes. Crime statistics soar as if chasing a high score, leaving residents to navigate dark alleys with more caution than safety nets. Local councils slash budgets until public transport resembles a ghost train service. Without fresh investment, the city drifts like a rusting ship, listing dangerously toward oblivion. Beneath the veneer of riverside charm, Newport's social fabric unravels. Community centres close their doors while graffiti murals mourn lost youth. School resources shrink, forcing teachers to juggle classrooms like circus performance. Health clinics operate on skeleton crews, turning minor ailments into major ordeals. The city's identity stands at a crossroads, begging the question, will it rise from the ashes or sink into forgetfulness? Economic hopes evaporate faster than morning mist in Newport. Unemployment creeps past national rates, pushing families toward impossible choices. New businesses avoid the city like potholes on the high street, draining potential job creators. Property values plummet, making homes liabilities instead of assets. Forecasts predict the downward spiral will deepen by 2026 unless radical measures rescue this riverside town. Newport's warning is stark: watch the decay or become part of it. Residents sense the ground shifting beneath their feet. The choice to stay resembles a gambler's folly in a rigged casino. It's not too late to flee before the walls close in. Time ticks loudest where silence reigns. Birmingham wears its bankruptcy like a badge of dishonor. Once the workshop of the world, its council now juggles debts as if playing a losing hand. Libraries vanish from local maps, and potholes swallow cars with unsettling regularity. Emergency response teams stretch thinner than damp wallpaper. The city's grand industrial legacy fades under the weight of fiscal meltdown. The financial collapse lies a human cost. Parents queue at food banks like pilgrim lines, begging for essentials once taken for granted. Youth centers lock their gates while street violence spikes, painting playgrounds with urgency. School corridors echo with absent resources, and students learn mathematics through budget cuts. Healthcare queues lengthen, turning simple checkups into endurance tests. Austerity bites deeper in Birmingham than anywhere else. Local businesses shutter under rising rates and vanishing footfall. Entrepreneurs flee to friendlier horizons, leaving vacant premises as evidence of vanished ambition. Job fairs become sad rituals where hope flutters, then disappears. Economic forecasts glower, with warnings of further decline by 2026. Even civic pride sags under the financial black hole. Landmarks crumble without upkeep, and historic facades lose their grandeur. Residents whisper about a city once bold, now buckling. Staying here means signing up for shrinking comforts and mounting frustrations. Birmingham stands as proof that money troubles spread like wildfire, consuming opportunity in their path. Sunderland feels like a gallery of boarded-up memories. Shipyards lie silent, their cranes frozen symbols of a lost era. Coal mines shut down decades ago, but the shadow of decline remains vivid. Deprivation maps paint vast swathes of the city in gloomy hues. Job scarcity drags hope into silent corners where ambition goes to wither. Health issues stalk Sunderland's youth. Anxiety and depression rates climb higher than any local landmark. Clinics strain under constant demand, and mental health is treated like an afterthought. Community initiatives battle a tidal wave of need with limited resources. The city's spirit struggles to surface amid the gloom. Local high streets resemble empty sound stages for a ghost town. Cafes once bustling fall silent, and shopfronts display to-let signs like gravestones. Investment feels like a daydream for locals who watch gleaming towers rise in distant cities. Sunderland becomes a cautionary exhibit of what happens when industry vanishes without a plan B. By 2026, Sunderland risks slipping into legend as the city that gave up. Without a dramatic turnaround, its youth might only know the stories of better days. Staying here could mean watching life pass by from a front-row seat. Some stories end with a fade to black. Sunderland might be one of them. Dundee's riverside welcomes visitors with a haunting calm. The city once thrummed with jute mills and journalistic fervor, but now whispers fill empty streets. Drug deaths surge at alarming rates, carving communities with grief and frustration. Waterfront redevelopments glimmer superficially, failing to mask deep social wounds. Dundee's crisis runs beneath polished facades like an unseen current. Families dread loss more than unemployment here. Addiction ravages neighborhoods, leaving vacant homes and broken bonds. Social services scramble to patch gaping holes, juggling too many emergencies. Schools become frontline shelters for children traumatized by community despair. The city teeters between revival and collapse. Economic initiatives promise tech hubs and creative spaces, but everyday life tells a different tale. Startup schemes struggle against a tide of poverty and addiction. Talent drains away as graduates seek brighter prospects elsewhere. The gap between glossy brochures and reality yawns ever wider. Dundee's best hope lies in confronting darkness head-on, not painting over it. By 2026, Dundee could either emerge stronger or sink deeper into its struggles. Without bold, systemic change, its social divide threatens to become permanent trench lines. Remaining here means risking a front-row seat to an unraveling experiment. Some cities reinvent themselves. Others fade before they finish their story. Coventry boasts wartime resilience, but now battles peacetime neglect. Factories that once roared now hum faintly or sit abandoned. Crime statistics climb like ivy on forgotten walls, with violent incidents on a relentless upswing. Schools and hospitals battle funding cuts with grim determination. Coventry's proud identity strains under economic pressure. Local pride conflicts with growing unease. Neighbors lock doors earlier, and community halls host tense meetings over dwindling resources. Public parks lose their luster, and sports clubs fold without volunteers. The city's beating heart grows weaker with each council cut. Coventry's heritage battles a present-day erosion of opportunity. Transport woes deepen isolation. Trains run late, buses shrink their routes, and roads become snagged with traffic and disrepair. Commuters endure grueling journeys to find work elsewhere, draining energy before the day begins. Connectivity falters, dragging both business and residents into frustration. Coventry's future hinges on solving its mobility crisis, or else stagnation will reign. Projections for 2026 cast a shadow over Coventry's rebirth hopes. Without fresh industries to replace lost manufacturing, unemployment and crime could spike further. Remaining here may mean living amid uncertainty and shrinking services. Some relics deserve preservation, others demand release. Coventry needs a fresh script before the old one collapses. Middlesbrough feels the weight of broken promises. Once proud factories now stand as rusting monuments to bygone prosperity. Child poverty soars past 40%, entangling entire generations in cycles of need. Council estates reflect years of neglect, their cracks echoing stories of hardship. The town's resilience falters under economic scorch. Local heroes stage community revivals, but their efforts feel like flickering candles in a storm. Food banks operate daily, feeding children who dream of normalcy. Health clinics grapple with chronic conditions born of poverty and poor housing. Education systems strain under overcrowding and resource gaps. Middlesbrough's fight for hope becomes a daily endurance test. Empty shops line the high street like empty seats in a deserted theatre. Young people migrate to greener pastures, the brain drain deepening local despair. Investment talk rings hollow without concrete action, and shuttered windows broadcast a deflated spirit. Lifelines arrive sporadically, barely stemming the tide of decline. Middlesbrough risks becoming a case study in what poverty looks like from close range. By 2026, Middlesbrough faces a crossroads, transformative change or deeper descent. Staying here could mean watching hope dissipate year by year. Some towns rebound, others become relics. The choice to stay demands courage few can sustain. Hull carries the weight of water at its doorstep. Low-lying lands make flooding a constant threat, and rising seas loom like unwelcome guests. The UK's City of Culture title proved fleeting for many neighbourhoods left behind. Wage levels linger low, and unemployment stings proud residents. Transport links isolate more than connect, turning travel into a test of patience. Climate change bites hardest where defences fray. Residents live in fear of seasonal storms that could inundate homes overnight. Insurance premiums soar, pushing families into impossible decisions. Local councils scramble to shore up defences, but face funding cliffs. Hull's horizon looks stormy unless drastic measures wash ashore soon. Economic hardship and environmental peril create a toxic mix. Jobs vanish as industries shy away from flood risks. Young families hesitate to settle in uncertain lands. Public morale sinks with every weather warning. Hull's grit meets its greatest test yet. If predictions hold true, Hull could become a cautionary case of climate neglect by 2026. Remaining here means living in a constant state of alert. Some cities adapt, others drown in hesitation. Hull needs bold planning or faces an uncertain tide. Blackpool reels from a faded seaside dream. Once a carnival paradise, it now hosts boarded-up guest houses beside fading arcades. Seasonal work fails to support year-round lives, trapping many in unstable incomes. Health agencies warn of addiction spikes among vulnerable groups. The town's vibrant past seems like a distant echo. Local waterways suffer pollution and neglect, dimming the seaside sparkle. Visitors dwindle and businesses shutter in droves. Infrastructure budgets shrink, leaving piers to rot and promenades to crumble. Community centres close, erasing social lifelines. Blackpool's heart slows under the weight of decline. Economic reports label Blackpool among England's most deprived regions. Life expectancy dips dramatically in some neighbourhoods. Substance abuse and related deaths climb on grim trajectories. Schools face underfunding and overcrowding, stifling future generations. The town risks becoming a cautionary bulletin rather than a holiday highlight. By 2026, Blackpool could drift into irrelevance without major revival efforts. Remaining here means contending with seasonal ghosts of better times. Some coastal towns reinvent themselves, others fade with the tide. Blackpool stands at its own ebb point. Blackpool is becoming a postcard of decay, an eerie echo of what it once was. If things continue this way, by 2026, it won't just be a struggling seaside town, it could be a forgotten one. Bradford wears resilience like armour, but the battle wears thin. Textile looms have fallen silent, replaced by empty factories and uncertain futures. Unemployment ranks among the highest nationally, fueling frustration and tension. Schools strain under resource shortages, leaving students with few lifelines. Violence edges upward, casting shadows over community solidarity. Local councils promise aid, but funding often arrives too late. Homelessness grows and soup kitchens multiply like mushrooms after rain. Healthcare systems struggle with both physical and mental health crises. Community organizers step in where officials falter, yet the scale of need overwhelms their goodwill. Bradford grapples daily with forces larger than any single effort. Inner city areas bear the brunt of neglect. Roads crumble and street lighting fails, turning nights into minefields of anxiety. Shops close, erasing vibrant local commerce and pushing residents to travel elsewhere. Public transport feels punishing rather than supportive. Bradford's infrastructure creaks under relentless pressure. Forecasts for 2026 predict deeper economic trenches and sharper social strains. Staying here may mean enduring a tug-of-war between determination and desperation. Some cities withstand adversity, others bend until they break. Bradford stands at a tipping point. Luton pulses with a restless energy, a melting pot of cultures and ambitions. Yet beneath the bustle lie stark warnings. Knife crime climbs with alarming velocity, and youth violence tears at community threads. Housing shortages push families into cramped conditions, fueling tensions. Public services buckle under demand, straining every outreach program. Local industries falter as global shifts bypass this former manufacturing hub. Airport jobs fail to offset losses in traditional sectors. Rent spikes surprise residents each year, draining their budgets. Unemployment stalks the streets like a hungry stray. Luton's promise dims under economic and social strain. A major survey reveals nearly half of residents would flee if they could. Homes teem with hopes that struggle to find solid ground. Schools and clinics juggle ever-growing lists of needs, leaving little room for innovation. Streets hum with unseen anxieties, and community events become rare reprieves. Luton's vibrancy risks collapsing into tension and disillusionment. By 2026, Luton's warning lights flash red. Remaining here may feel like a gamble on an expired bet. Some towns evolve, others exist in cycles of unfulfilled promise. Luton stands as a caution. When belief fades, even vibrant places wilt. Now the stage passes to viewers. Which city astonished you most with its hidden fractures? Share your thoughts in the comments. Every perspective matters. If this exposé sparked your curiosity or concern, support the channel with a like and a subscribe. Your engagement powers more honest, high-energy journeys through today's urban realities. Thanks for watching, and stay alert.